Welcome to the show, Hamilton. Thanks for joining us for an episode of The Devil's Advocate Live. I'm J.R. Edel alongside Kimmy Hatch.
Thanks, JR. Today's show has stories on organization activities like peer mediation, fall sports, and the homecoming dance.
Last week, many new students joined peer mediation and began the training process. Hannah Salida covers the story.
Over 20 students participated in peer mediation training with advisor Ms. Peretti on October 5th in the Media Center. Peretti explained what the program is all about.
I was hired way back when, in 1997, and peer mediation was a program that came about to help students solve their conflicts and improve their communication skills. Mrs. Shipsky, I believe, was in charge of the program back then, and then I took it over when she gave it up. And one thing I tried to do was to include the mentoring aspect with it as well. So, all right, folks, so what we have here, we have a number of solutions, having a problem, some better than others, if there's a new student, but what we're finding is needs like a guide or someone to help out. What I found is that through the years, it has gotten better in that students are more aware of what the program is, so they're more inclined to maybe ask an administrator or me or even one of the mediators for help. So that's always a positive thing.
Students learned about avoiding bias and other skills when dealing with conflict.
So we started with like a 3-hour workshop on what peer mediation actually is and what we do, and then we spent the rest of it doing mock situations, which were actually a lot of fun, but they were still really helpful in like getting a feel of what we would do if it were a real thing.
So in the peer mediation workshop today, we learned what peer mediation was, and we were thrown like a couple conflicts. We learned conflict and resolution and really how to make the school a better place.
I learned to not be biased in situations because there's different viewpoints of everything when it comes to peer mediation, and it's really important to hear every side of the story because you don't know who's right and who's wrong, and by taking sides you might upset a person and drive them to like unreciprocated emotions, and it'll be unfair to the whole peer mediation experience.
I learned how confidential the whole situation is. It stays between the mentors and the administrator. Nothing goes outside of the room. So if you do have a large issue that you feel so is personal, you can talk about it with people who will understand you and won't like have a biasness about it, but at the same time you know that it won't go out the entire public or to the entire student body.
Peer mentoring is important because it can help to solve conflicts before they get too extreme, and it can help students to talk out their problems without adult help first.
Peer mediation matters because it allows students to talk to other students before the administration escalates it and makes it a bigger problem than it needs to be.
For the Devil's Advocate, this is Jasmine Barroso and Hannah Salida.
Thanks, Hannah. It's wonderful to see so many students getting involved to help solve conflicts amongst HHS.
Shifting now to academics, many students have been debating the best way to start the year off right and stay up to date on current subjects. I sure don't want to fall behind this school year. Ava Parzanese has that story.
Students almost have a full marking period under their belts. Just what are they doing to start the academic year off right?
What advice to give your students?
Turn in things on time. That's probably the best bit of advice I can give people. And also to have a highlighter on you at all times.
It's important to study so you can make sure you pass your classes and you don't gotta come back here next year.
Study in high school so that you know what you're doing for the upcoming test, and along with the upcoming test you have the upcoming state test that you need to know it for, so it's definitely important to keep studying.
What do you do to stay on track in school?
Just pay attention more.
How do you stay on track this school year?
I just study at home and do my work in class and don't be lazy.
What are some good ways you study?
With my study guides, my notes in class, I write. Yes, I do. I study. I do study. Study, kids. Let's go.
This is Ava Parsonese signing off.
Wow, who knew I was studying wrong this whole time?
Anyways, speaking of academic help for students, ChatGPT is always an option. A new AI tool can help students with homework, essays, and even text messages. But how do students and staff feel about it? Charlie Harrison brings us that story.
I'm Charlie Harrison with the Devil's Advocate, and I'm here at HHS reporting on ChatGPT. ChatGPT, as some of us may know, is a widely used AI tool that can steer conversation, but I'm here to ask students and staff their opinions on the topic. Let's go.
I think that it could be used as a helpful resource, but that's not how the kids use them. They use them as a cheating tactic, and it's very easy to see the holes in it.
I think ChatGPT is useful, like, for you to, like, quickly fact check information, but, like, for you to copy and paste, like, no, that's not good.
Yes, I think it is, because you could use it to write essays, get a lot of answers to assignments.
It's a helpful resource because it helps students guide them in the right direction for assignments.
I don't agree with the degradation of the English language.
Well, I think it could be both. Definitely in some professions, it could work out to be a really, really good, useful tool. It could be a time saver, but I definitely think it needs to be monitored in a certain way for students.
Using ChatGPT in academic assignments is a good thing as long as you're learning something from the assignment. Now, for me personally, I have actually used ChatGPT for some assignments, but as I did learn from those assignments, and that's what the end goal of what an assignment is to do, is to learn something from it. And if I took away something from an assignment, then I don't think that's actually cheating.
Well, it seems like we have very different opinions here at HHS, but I'm Charlie Harrison reporting for the Devil's Advocate. I hope you have a great day.
Wow, ChatGPT sounds so interesting. Maybe it can help predict the score of the homecoming football game tonight.
The homecoming football games tonight? Make sure to dress in pink out while we watch Kenny Smith help carry us throughout the game. Lucas Guerrier has that story.
My name is Lucas Guerrier here with the HHS Devil's Advocate at Hamilton High School, where today we're looking into Kenny Smith's dominant performance against RV last week, which ultimately led to him breaking the school record. Details coming soon.
Coming into this Week 5 matchup against the RV Red Devils, Smith had already attempted to run the ball 111 times while amassing 746 rushing yards in the process. In Week 0, Kenny had 4 touchdowns against St. John Vianney at Battle at the Beach to give the Blue Devils the start that they wanted for their season. The bar was already set high for Smith coming into his junior season. As his sophomore year, he attempted 224 rushes for 1,670 yards while adding 21 touchdowns in the process. I had the chance to catch up with Kenny in the hallways to ask him a couple of questions about his performance, and here's what he said.
Coming into this game against RV, your most amount of yards in one game was last year against Ocean City, where you had 238. At which point during this game did you know you were going to break it, if you did know you were going to break it at all?
I actually had no idea I was going to break it. I mean, just going along with the game, going with the flow, it was just play after play, taking it as far as I could, and after the game, they told me how many yards I had, and it was just a wow moment.
What was that feeling like? Were there any celebrations, anything you did after the game to commemorate your performance in that game?
Nah, I just got up and went to practice the next day. You know, thanked my lineman. Told him I was getting him a piece of dinner. I got to hold my word on that one, too.
It also came out a couple of days ago that you recently received an offer from the University of Pittsburgh. Do you think this performance had an impact in receiving it, or were they already looking at you?
I would say most definitely had an impact, but, you know, since my freshman year, they've been sending mail to the school for me, so it's like, I knew they, like, had an eye out for me, but I feel like this, like, really set it over the top.
The record was previously set at 277 yards by Jaden Abrams. Do you feel like he was an inspiration to you at all, or a mentor, or someone you looked up to at all?
Most definitely. You know, watching the film, highlight film before the game of the older teams, seeing him just run the ball the way he did and take accountability day in and day out, it would definitely set an example for a standard for high school football, for sure.
Coming into the game, what was your mentality?
We got to win. Got to find a way to win no matter what. Coming off a loss to Mainland, it was a big deal for us to get this win. Get more power points, get back in the playoff run, and just keep pushing, keeping it one game at a time.
What was the most important factor, in your opinion, that led to your success in the game and ultimately led to your performance that broke the record?
The most important factor was my linemen. I think these guys, every single time I get interviewed, they like mean the world to me. They do a great job at what they do.
Always got to thank the linemen. Always got to thank the linemen. How does this carry over? How does this mentality carry over to this week's game against Timber Creek, which is for the division, by the way, I believe?
Yeah. This mentality is going to carry on throughout the season. You know, we got to take it one game at a time to get back to where we were. You know, we got to keep grinding, keep finding a way to win games, and this is a big game for us, so we got to get the job done tonight for sure.
All right, thank you.
As you can see, the future is bright for this young junior running back as he continues to progress each day. My name is Lucas Guerrier here with the HHS Devil's Advocate, and I hope to see you again.
Thanks, Lucas. Kenny Smith seems very dedicated. I can't wait to watch him play tonight.
Personally, I can't wait for homecoming tomorrow night. However, many students have been debating the location of homecoming. Siani Cruz has that story.
Homecoming 2023 is upon us. This year's dance will be held Saturday night in Gym A. 2 years ago, though, it was held outside on the tennis courts. So that leads us to our question, do people prefer indoors or outdoors? Are you attending homecoming this year?
Yeah.
Do you believe that homecoming should be held outside on the tennis courts as it was 2 years ago, or inside as it was last year?
I think inside's a bit more fun, just like more space and stuff. I think it's better.
Are you attending homecoming this year?
Yes.
2 years ago, homecoming was held outdoors. Do you think that homecoming should be held outdoors again, or no?
No.
Why?
It's too cold.
Are you attending homecoming this year?
Yes, I am.
2 years ago, homecoming was held outdoor on the tennis courts. Do we think that homecoming should be held outside again?
I think it should, just because it's going to be more open. It doesn't seem as crowded, and it feels like we have an open space to hang out.
2 years ago, homecoming was held outside. How do we feel about it being held outside again?
It depends what the weather is that day. If it's cold, I want it inside. It's probably most likely going to be cold, so I would like it inside, and it's just louder inside.
Are you attending homecoming this year?
Yeah.
Do you think that homecoming should be held outdoors on the tennis courts?
Yeah, it should be outside again. It's way better outside. It's not as hot.
2 years ago, homecoming was held outdoors, and last year was held indoors. How do we feel about it being held outdoors again?
It should definitely be outside again because the gym is way too hot and people will be stepping on my feet in the gym.
Are you attending homecoming this year?
Yeah,
Do you think that homecoming should be held inside or outside?
outside. It's way better outside. You do a lot more outside than you can inside.
Are you attending homecoming this year?
I am.
2 years ago, homecoming was held outside on tennis courts. Do you think that homecoming should be held outside again?
Yeah, because there's a lot more space.
For the Devil's Advocate, this is Siani Cruz.
I like homecoming better outside because I just think it's more fun. How about you, Kimmy?
I agree. Well, that's our show for today, Hamilton. For JR, myself, and everyone here at the Devil's Advocate Live, thanks for tuning in. We hope you have a safe and wonderful homecoming weekend. Bye, Kenny Smith.
Bye, Kenny Smith.